This one right here, we didn't got S loud tribal. You got the tribal with loud S loud coming into it, and you got his whole tribal, and you got with his whole just his the Alexa one coming into it. You know his tribal and his whole main. You know Sklizzy. You know the Sklizzy. We got the tribal, and with the whole just little bit of the trailer, the preview I was seeing of it, and it was a little exclusive find. Like now he got his whole the disclaimer and stuff like that. So he got his whole Alexo into the whole just Verix, the whole Verix, but you got what just his whole thing and him having his whole, sclerox.
Check. Biz on the track. We going tribal, cut the header for gold. Back to the battle, mixing white with the yolk. The rap in the trap, we handling both. Fill up my lungs with smoke, ski, fill up the trap with smoke. I had to go get it, on my own. I had to go get it, on my own. Spend so much time up in the cold. Countless nights, I've been caught tribal, cut the header for gold. Back to the battle, mixing white with the yolk.
We said back to the bundle, we right where we go. Hey, we right where we go. He said back to the bundle, and he said, just with these smoke in his lungs, like the smoky in his lungs, it just making him go. It's just making him turn into a whole nother, vibro, like another vibro thing. He said smoke to his lungs, and a whole other thing, like he said, just making him go rolls. And then he said back to the bandos, like he was supposed to go to the and show like the whole thing, like he just said, especially mixing those all type of, for narcotics and everything else, is like that makes it another Juicy, like another Bonsco, like another Bonsco coming around, like what he just got going on, and the whole thing is just like the turtles.
In the trap, we handling both. Fill up my lungs with smoke, ski, fill up the trap with smoke. I had to go get it, on my own. I had to go get it, on my own. Spend so much time up in the cold. Countless nights, I've been coming home. Yeah. Burn that bridge, I hit that twice, I might hit it again. This time, tell her bring one of her friends, TSG in the main, see them spin it again. My young ball to the up block and spin it again. Reaching for the jewels, gotta fill him.
Ooh, my boy is bringing it to the art block. He's spinning that art block, burning these bridges and the whole thing. And he says spinning on the art block. You know how we go, how we it's internal, like they say. Spinning on those Kirchhoffs. Till we know it's like no bridges Scanify like even exist, like just the whole thing. But he said something just like turtles.
Free up, pull up, feeling slipping too skank. My right hand rev too savage with the hand ting. That's no panicking. Last time I weighed again, saw me started planking. She crew try vanishing. Jug from Jan to December, just seen a yellow come fresh out the blender. Hitting them shots out the blender, try hit me, send it right back to sender. It's loud on the ghost, blowing smoke straight out of the ghost. Send it right back to sender. It's loud on the ghost, blowing smoke straight out of the ghost. We ain't at the top, but we getting close. We're charging up, I feel the volts. Just to go up, they'll do the most. We going tribal, cut the header for gold. Back to the battle, mixing white with the yolk. The rap in the trap, we handling both. Fill up.
Oh, and then he said we hitting them blocks just like it was some blenders. Hey, the blenders, you put the little thing on and you blend that. Like, hey, we hitting the blocks like we was on some blenders. Like we basically breaking down the blocks, squirting down the blocks, like he said, we spinning those things and then you putting the little thing on it, like the whole thing, like he said, breaking down those blocks just like a blender. And he said we back onto that, that no stroke blokes.
up my lungs with smoke, ski, fill up the drum with smoke. I had to go get it, I'm like, oh. I had to go get it, I'm like, oh. Spend so much time up in the cold. Countless nights I've been coming home. We gon' travel, cut the header for gold. Back to the band, mixing white with the yolk. The rap in the trap, you know we handling both. Fill up my lungs with smoke, ski, fill up the drum with smoke.
Whooshy, whooshy. He said fill up the skull fill up his lungs with the skull. He said up in the blender, up in the block like a blender. The whole thing was just trifling. Like he was just having it trifling. Like every other, Scotia one he has, they're always, on another skimmicky. Like they have another skimmically coming to it, and the whole thing, cause he just be scaring it down, like just coming with a whole thing and the whole just other factories, with the whole thing. But you got this one right here with S Loud and his whole thing, like even with him having his whole thing. But I feel like he got his new one right here. This is his most pleasure one, cause the whole thing. But make sure guys go froze with this one right here and the whole thing, cause he got another Escobedo one, so go flows with this. Everything else, like, comment, and what these whole just froze in.